What's good, Commanders fans? I just wanted to get on here and commend Adam Peters again for cooking it up, chefing it up. After looking at the trades that other teams made, or the Bills made for Amari Cooper, and the trade that the Jets made for Devontae Adams, and then you compare those trades and the value that they got or they had to give up to get those receivers is basically what Howie Roseman and the Eagles had to give up for us to give up Jahan Dotson. So, I mean, Adam Peters has been cooking. I mean, he basically fleeced the Eagles. And you look at the yardage and the receptions that Jahan Dotson has gotten this season alone. And even with Devontae Adams not being there and A.J. Brown being out multiple games, Jahan Dotson has 6 catches for 35 yards on the season. 6 catches for 35 yards. And it's highly disappointing, man. Like I said, I'm a Jahan Dotson fan, and I wasn't 100% against the trade to start off, but I wasn't happy with the trade because I wasn't happy that we gave up a receiver that I thought still had potential after his rookie season. But Adam Peters clearly knew what he was doing. And like I said, I don't question Adam Peters much, but I do, analyze moves. And I'm like, hey, whether I like this, because I have my opinion. I'm a fan. I buy jerseys, I buy tickets, stuff like that. I go to games and whatnot here and there. And, I just had the right to say my opinion about it. I just didn't like us giving up a weapon or an asset to help out a young quarterback in Jaden Daniels. But Jaden's been fine with the receivers that we have, receiver by committee. And also, he moved John Ridgeway to create a space to sign Noah Brown. So Adam Peters has been playing chess and not checkers this whole time, especially fleecing a team within your division in the NFC East, the Eagles, who you play twice a year. I mean, for you to give up a receiver, that was a big risk. That was a huge risk that Adam Peters took to gain draft capital there. Like, what if Jahan actually did show up and have that? Even if Jahan would have had his rookie year or even his sophomore season where he produced a little bit, he had 30-something catches for like 500 yards and a couple touchdowns. I believe he had like 2 or 3 touchdowns. Even if he at least did that, like, he's not even going to get close to that. He might not even get 100 yards on the whole season through 17 games. Like, he's on pace to get like maybe like 100, 120. But even that is a very underwhelming stat for a former first-round pick, especially when a team gives up a third-round pick and 2 sevenths for your services. That is ski mask Howie Roseman, as Eagles fans always hype up Howie Roseman. Ski mask Howie. Howie does this, he does that. He always signs these guys. He signs Devin White. Devin White gets released. Shaq Leonard didn't work out. James Bradbury, awful. Darius Slay is a shell of himself. The Georgia boys haven't really been elite like they're supposed to be. Nakobe Dean is finally starting to start and get a starting role on the team. So a lot of the moves that Howie has made have been good. Don't get me wrong, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. But a lot of the moves that he has made has been underwhelming, like drafting Jalen Reagor. So everything Howie does is not going to turn into gold. And everything Adam Peters is not going to turn into gold either. But Adam Peters, to start off as a rookie GM, is definitely making some big boy moves, and he definitely looks like he's ahead of the game, just like Jaden Daniels is ahead of the game. So you look at the trade, basically what the Bills gave up, they had to attach a pick to Amari Cooper. Now, we did attach a 5th-round pick to Jahan Dotson, but we ended up getting 2 sevenths and a 3rd-round pick. But you look at the Bills, they had Amari Cooper. They gave up the Browns. The Bills, they received Amari Cooper in a 6th-round pick. And then the Browns received a 3rd-round pick and a 7th-round pick. So they basically did a late-round pick swap where we didn't. We got the 3rd-round pick and we got 2 sevenths, but we only had to give up a 5th, where the Bills had to do a pick swap and give up a 3rd. So we clearly got a better deal. And Amari Cooper's the better receiver by far. Amari Cooper's a 1,000-yard perennial 1,000-yard receiver. Every single season, he's 1,000 yards, guaranteed to get 1,000 yards. He was only being held back by Deshaun Watson, and Amari Cooper had a 200-yard receiving game last year, which is insane. And him with Josh Allen, like that's gonna be a lethal duo. Lethal duo. Josh Allen and Amari Cooper, like, he's gonna be really good for the Bills. Like, that's a good pickup for them, and I think that is worth the compensation. But you look at the Eagles now, they're like, dang, we gave up basically more than what the Bills gave up for Amari Cooper, And then you look at the trade for the Jets, which I think is a solid trade, but a lot of people are joking right now and saying that Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, they're comparing, since they're so old at this point, they're comparing them to the Nets, where the Celtics traded Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and all those guys were on the Nets. when it was basically their last dance at that time, and the Nets barely did anything in the league. I think they made it to the playoffs, and that was about it. They got bounced in the first round, and that's probably what's going to happen to the Jets. Even if the Jets still might not even make the playoffs. Like them getting Devontae Adams is not going to make them guaranteed making the playoffs, in my opinion. It's really not. They got a couple big problems that they got to fix. And Aaron Rodgers included himself. He needs to be better. He needs to be better. He hasn't been the same Aaron Rodgers the past couple games. But yeah, Adam Peters did a great job, and they gave up a third-round pick. They gave up a third for Devontae Adams, a conditional that could turn into a second-round pick. So you look at the compensation. There's a funny tweet. It says, just realized that Adam Peters traded Jahan Dotson to get a third, which is also what the Raiders and Browns got for Devontae Adams and Amari Cooper. The Demon Peters strikes again. So, I mean, you compare them. Devontae Adams is a future Hall of Famer. Amari Cooper, some of the numbers that he puts up, I don't know about future Hall of Famer, but he's definitely a perennial Pro Bowler, perennial great player. And Adam Peters turned those guys down. And, you know, we'll see what he does with the extra compensation. Like, do we bring in a receiver through the draft? Does he wait? Or does he bring in one at the trade deadline? Or does he use that extra third-round pick for a cornerback, one of those Browns corners like Greg Newsome, Denzel Ward, one of those guys, or even J.C. Horn? And then you look at the cap space that we have. We have 120 million plus in cap space and 9 draft picks this upcoming draft, which is insane. And 4 of those draft picks are in the top 100. You look at the Sam Howell trade too, gained some draft picks on that as well. And then John Allen in the offseason, you don't know. I mean, he might trade John Allen for a third-round pick. He might cook something up right there too. So we'll see. And then there's also a crazy article saying that the Ravens should trade for Emmanuel Forbes. I might make a separate video about that. I got to find that article. But that's just insane to me that a team would even trade. If he can trade Emmanuel Forbes, I mean, that would just be crazy. That would be insane. If he finds a way to trade Emmanuel Forbes for any type of compensation, that is a win, is a win, is a win, is a win, is a win. That would be the biggest win. If you can get a guy that's not even getting snaps and he's a healthy scratch, if you could trade him somehow, some way, and get at least even a 6th or a 7th, then Adam Peters is the GM of the year for sure. So, all right, you guys let me know what you guys think. As always, I'm always going to revisit this because I remember I made a video a couple weeks ago and people were saying it's too early to say that we won the trade or fleeced the Eagles, but I think it's pretty safe to say that we fleeced the Eagles. And I hate saying it because I'm a big Jahan Dotson fan. I wish the best for the guy, but of course not on the Eagles. But I still think that there's some talent left there. But for Jahan to be traded basically for similar compensation that Amari Cooper and the likes of Devontae Adams got traded for, I mean, that is crazy. It really is. And Amari Cooper got traded for a 5th-round pick to the Browns when he was traded from the Cowboys too. So even the trade that Adam Peters was made was better than the Cowboys trade when the Cowboys traded Amari Cooper to the Browns. So you got to think about it that way as well. So, but yeah, I'm looking at this crazy article about Emmanuel Forbes and possibly the Ravens being interested. That would be insane to me. But, you know, we'll see what happens with that. But I think if they can get some type of compensation for Emmanuel Forbes, that would be the GMing. That would be legit elite GMing right there. So, all right, you guys let me know what you guys think. As always, Health Commanders. Peace.